Have you ever felt like you're a project? That might sound a bit random, but I think it's a more common phenomenon in Mormonism than maybe we would tend to think. I think a lot of people would agree with having that feeling. I'll just give an example. When I left the church, just in my local branch, there was an individual who, I knew, of course, for a long time, but, we weren't like good friends or deep friends or anything. But not long after I left, they started just constantly, texting me like BYU addresses and conference talks and stuff. And I mean, I don't think it's coming from ill will. I don't view it negatively, but it feels like a project kind of thing. It feels more like I'm concerned for you, but I'm concerned because you're not Mormon. That's the reason I'm concerned. Which, again, I don't take it negatively. I don't think this is coming out of malice or anything, but it's that feeling of, man, I think they kind of view me as a project, and you can feel that in many instances. I think many people have the experience. Maybe they're a bit socially awkward. Maybe they feel like a little bit of an outcast or a reject, and they get, fellowshipping or whatever you might call it in a Mormon ward, but it kind of feels like a project. It's not like, hey, come hang out at my house. It's like, hey, come to the temple with me. Go to this church event with me. It's in the context of church events, and of course, you know, local church leaders literally have meetings talking about people like projects. And again, I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not condemning anyone. I'm not saying negative things about the church. I mean, a lot of this interaction and outreach is just things that just wouldn't happen without the church. So it's not to condemn anyone. It's just to kind of talk about a common experience, that feeling of kind of realizing you're kind of a project to someone, and they're not super interested in you as a person. And maybe if a Mormon see this, maybe this is a perspective. Because I mean, Mormons are sincere people. They don't want to treat people as projects, but it just happens. I mean, I remember there was a family that lived in my neighborhood, and they were kind of a project to us. And they weren't the only family like this, where they were a non-member family, though the other family technically got baptized, but basically stayed a non-member family. But it was the kind of thing where we had lots of interactions with them, but it was so heavily in the context of the church. And we had goals for. Well, my parents had goals for them, things we wanted them to become Mormons or become more faithful Mormons. And it's one of those things where there's good intention. There is Christ-like love in there. I'm not saying it's bad or hypocritical, but you know it would be better if if people just weren't projects. I think, and if there was less of an emphasis on that, even subliminally or whatever. Let me know what you think. Have a good one. Goodbye.